Hey guys, welcome to the Academy Answers podcast. I did well with my A's this morning. Yay, congrats to me. Welcome to the Academy Answers podcast, where we discuss the questions from our blogs, our social media, on personal development. We run huge Instagram accounts. We are on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, Success Academy. We are on Twitter, hardly on Twitter. We're on Pinterest, hardly on Pinterest. But we're all over social media, and people reach out to us from unlikely places. And we're here on Anchor and on other podcasts. You might find me on iTunes, Stitcher, and a list of podcasts, Google ones, all over the place. We're here and thank Anchor for the platform to be able to do this. A really powerful tool, and podcast is the thing of the day. You know, there are usually waves when it comes down to business, and podcast is one of the ways. People are listening to podcasts. Audio is big, and you can understand why people don't have time to, they want videos, but a lot of times they have to listen also. They can't get to actually sit and look at the video. They have to be doing 10 things at the same time. So we are on audio trying to scale what questions we answer. We do answer these questions personally, but we want to answer in such a way because we've realized over the years that, you know what, people, no matter what their background, no matter what their ethnicity, what their social status, they go through the same kind of range of problems. So if I get something that someone is going through, it's usually I get 3, 4, 5, 6 questions of the same nature. And my following is still growing. You can imagine that this would scale the same ratio when I get to 1 million, 2 million, 20 million, or 50 million following. Anyway, so this question is, I don't think I'm productive enough. What can I do to improve my productivity? And it is something that I have, kind of looked into and researched myself, because I'm someone who get distracted a lot. To sit down and line up my focus takes me really a lot of effort, and I have struggled with it for many years. In terms of business and in terms of just sitting down and doing something and executing it, finishing it. It is a tough task. People suffer with it. Some people have have it down lock. Some people can just turn off their phones and go, and just make it happen. And some people can geek out and do it. I have some strong discipline points, but I struggle with that too. So I understand what you're going through. But it can be approached from 3 tiers. And what I'll do this in, because it's so much stuff to go over, I'll do this in separate podcasts. So this one, I'll do the first tier, but I'll just tell you the 3 tiers. The first tier is from self, what is the psychological stuff and the physical stuff happening there. That's the first tier in getting to being more productive and more focused. And the second tier is the tools you can use. What are the strategies? What are the things that will help you to nail down that productivity and that focus? And the third thing is your environment. What are the other external things around you that does weigh in, that you can use to your advantage, that negatively affect you in terms of your productivity? So the first tier, we look at the enough stuff. And the main principle here is based on a analysis I always give, and that is, before you decide what you want, know who you are. Before you decide what you want, know who you are. If you know who you are, then you'll know stuff about yourself. You know what is funny? Many people have all the statistics in the world. They know how many goals Manchester United scored last year. They know how many seasons of this thing come out. They know which how much Oprah is worth. They know which series is coming out next. They know which movies are out. They know what's the latest thing that's in. They know what Beyonce said about Cardi B, or Nicki Minaj said about all that stuff. They know a bunch of stuff. So it's not that their brain can contain information. They know a bunch of stuff about everything else except themselves. They don't know anything about themselves. They don't know when they work best. They don't know what duration of time they usually work before fatigue kicks in. They don't know what is their body mass fat ratio. I don't know if I said that right. They don't know their strengths. They don't know what they're good at. They don't know what's going on in terms of how long they can focus, or what they are able to do in whatever period of time. They don't know anything about themselves, and mainly they don't know what they want. People don't know what they want. They never stop to actually take in who they are and what they feel, what emotions run through them, what do they feel to their hearts, to their core. It comes upon them because the mind does that, and the body will do that. As a human, you will get that feeling, but they block it out, or they're in so much noise that it comes up as a shadow. And by the time it comes up, and by the time they're to take a time to meditate on it, to feel it, then something else drown it out. You must know who you are. Do you work better after you get home from the gym and you can sit in front of your computer and go until 12 because you have to sleep in the mornings, or you'll feel tired and fatigued all day? Is it easier for you to go to bed early and wake up in the mornings and do the work? Do you like to be in bed working, or you work better at the library? Do you have your best thoughts when you're driving? Do you have your best thoughts in your shower? When do you need a notebook to be taking notes of what you are to do? Do you work better listening to music? Like, what are your things? What is it that works for you? Do you need to work half an hour and then you listen to some music? What is it that usually works for you? Do you work better in silence, or do you need some soft music in the background? How do you work better? Do you work better in groups, or you work better on your own? You must decide who you are, what works for you. Then that's the first step of being productive. If you're forcing yourself to work in the mornings when you want to sleep, and you're better off working in the nights, then you are automatically hampering your own productivity. So you must decide and learn these things. Start to pay attention to yourself. Set a timer. Identify when the fatigue kicks in. If the fatigue kicks in at half an hour, 90 minutes, hour, 10, 15 minutes, know what to do to rejuvenate you. And go do it and bring yourself back. You just keep a check on yourself, analyze yourself, track yourself, test yourself, write down the numbers, know it. Just starting to heighten your awareness about what are the mechanics of what goes on in your day and in your task is incredibly powerful to help you to push through, to help you to stay on track and to focus. So start to analyze yourself. Know what works for you. That's the first layer. That's the first layer. And then in the next podcast for the next 3 days, I'll do them in a row so they'll right back on each other. I'll do them so I'll do the second tier tomorrow, like the techniques you could use. There are a bunch of techniques you could use to increase your productivity, tools, books, whatever. We'll go through a couple of those, and then the other day we'll look at the environment. So that's the first thing. Start to track yourself, identify what works for you, identify your strengths, identify how you work, when you work best, who you work best with, whether by yourself or work alone. And then you start to inch away at improving your productivity one step at a time. Thank you guys. Reach out to me on LouisMotivatorCar.com, Instagram. I'm there. I'm on Instagram most often. Reach out to me on Facebook, Louis Motivator. You can just send me an email, LouisMotivatorCar@gmail.com. Thank you guys. Have a